So, like I said before, the remainder of the year is going to be focused in on things that we should be thinking about when we are planning for 2025. So, today's guest is the phenomenal Shannon Gaither, who is going to talk about the significance and the importance of sales funnels. And for those of you out there who are like, I've heard of sales funnels, but I'm not exactly sure what it is, tune in, listen in, and definitely follow up with the show notes for ways to learn even more about sales offers and sales funnels, and a also really fun tool that Shannon also provides people. So tune in. I hope you love this pod as much as I did. Welcome to The Seed, cultivating growth and empowering women in business, brought to you by Dandelion-Inc. I'm your host, Lisa Resnick, and this podcast is all about connecting, developing, and supporting women in business. Join me as we explore tips and insights on leadership, business development, and social media strategies that can help you thrive. We'll also hear from amazing guests who share their stories and experiences, offering inspiration and practical advice for your entrepreneurial journey. So tune in, download, like, and subscribe. And remember, if you love what you hear, share it with others. Together, let's cultivate growth and empower women in business. Hi, everyone. I am here with Shannon Gaither.
Gaither.
Gaither. Hey, I got it right.
Yes.
So, if you've ever listened to any of my podcasts, names are not my strongest suits, or more, it's not necessarily names, it's probably phonics. It's not my strongest suit. So, I definitely appreciate that honesty and having correcting me anytime I make a mistake on someone's names. So, Shannon helps online business owners turn their ideas into offers that sell, which, believe it or not, is one of the hardest things for entrepreneurs to do. She has over 20 years in the digital space experience and 12 years herself as an entrepreneur. Shannon specializes in building seamless sales funnels that convert, which has been a topic of conversation lately, especially if you're working on your 2025 plans. And this is my favorite part. Shannon does it without the tech headaches. So I'm really hoping we can dive in and learn how that can occur for all of us. She empowers service providers and coaches to create offers with ease so she can spend less time on so we can spend less time on manual tasks and more time on what we love. So, through personalized strategy sessions, clear workflows, and practical templates, Shannon does help her clients confidently move from concept to cash flow. I am so happy to have you here, Shannon. Like, so happy.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here as well. Thanks for having me.
So, I have to ask, how did you stumble upon really honing in and focusing on like our sales offers?
Well, I saw so many talented business owners and with incredible expertise struggle to find a way to leverage it. They would try to create something to sell passively and then they would just get stuck, mostly on tech. And I was in a space where I was hired a lot to build out sales launch funnels. So I was doing a lot of kind of later funnel work. And what
Now,
ended up,
how'd you end up in that space?
well, I have a IT background for one and a business background. So it
Okay.
just lends itself nicely to that. And I got Kajabi for myself. I was in the DCA world that's Digital Course Academy, Amy Porterfield's
And
world.
honestly, this is where Shannon and I have met, which
Yes.
collaboration connections are essential. So please do, when you're part of these groups, talk to one another.
Excellent. Yes, absolutely. I've met so many amazing people in those groups. And so I started a number of years ago, and what ended up happening is I would help people with the tech parts of their launch, and they would go to launch and they really hadn't warmed up the audience. They hadn't done the beginning part of it, all this other legwork that needed to happen. They would just wanted to go and launch this big course, but they hadn't warmed anybody up. And maybe they had a list, maybe they didn't, but they hadn't built any kind of real relationship with these folks, and they haven't made a that was not the natural next step that person was going to take with them. And so it kind of just started to bother me that I kept seeing this over and over again, that people didn't take the time to warm their audience, to give them a natural next step. In fact, I see that on social media constantly, of people just leaving that next step hanging, or their websites and different things. And
It's true. And I think it's one of those things that we're lacking in the before, and then honestly that the closing of the after.
mm,
I think it's difficult, but I do also think it's essential. Please explain to everyone what a sales funnel is, because I don't think that is just a general carte blanche. Like we all know what it is and how we should have incorporated into our businesses.
I agree. I don't think everybody does have one, or if they might have a lead magnet funnel without realizing that they technically have a funnel.
Yes, this is true.
So a sales funnel is really just the journey that takes someone from, ooh, what's that, to I need this, take my money. And it's the process that the audience goes through from curious to customer. And when it's done right, it feels natural and not pushy.
Now, is it something that there's this formula that could be plugged in for everyone saying, okay, once you've used your lead magnet to capture that email, this is how many emails and this is how you need to do your drip campaign before you're able to convert them over to a client?
Yes, yes and no. So
Okay.
some people can get a sale right immediately after a lead magnet on the thank you page. They can have a small offer, low ticket offer. There's definitely proof that people will buy a high ticket offer, sight unseen, sort of not knowing you, just building a little bit of trust, but that is rare.
Yeah.
And much more common is that people need to build trust and learn more about you, see what you're all about, and be nurtured into that sale. And so taking them from lead magnet to a sale is a little harder to do. So it's important, like you said, to have email nurturing, so that you're warming people up. They've been on your mailing list for a little while before you're pitching them an offer.
True, very. And there are automation systems out there that will help you out. And
Yes.
it's a lot of upfront work, I feel like, for the first funnels that you're creating. But once you've created them, it's so much easier to let them roll.
Yes, I agree. So there's the lead magnet funnel, and then there's a sales funnel. So the lead magnet funnel is just the opt-in page, thank you page, nurture emails. That's pretty much the full funnel. And then the sales funnel can get more complicated, but it doesn't have to. And I actually think that the more successful funnels are generally very simple funnels. They're not overly complicated. It's harder to troubleshoot all sorts of pieces.
Yes.
You're just making it harder on yourself. So like keeping it simple is best, particularly for your first one. And yeah, so I think that it's extremely important for everyone to have one.
How many sales funnels do you have?
Uh, Probably I have a lot because I have a digital download shop. So I have probably around 10. And then I have a number of lead magnets. And so it's lead magnets are funny. Like you can build a lead magnet one year and the next year you feel like you're not aligned with your lead magnet anymore. So you have to be careful going crazy in the beginning because you might just scrap all of them. Like
True. It's true. Or at least like the template that you put it in that you can like swap out the content inside to help
Yeah.
save time.
Yes.
Now, with that, when you start and you have your lead magnet and you have your sales funnels in place, do you start off by segmenting? How does that all happen?
So you could segment, and people will always tell you that your emails will be more effective if you segment your audience and give them what they want. Yes, that's true. But that also means you have to create all these different emails. Like you have to create all these different email campaigns based on all these different things, and you may not um, have the time for that. That might not, be something feasible for you. Or if you're new to email marketing in general, that's just going to sound overwhelming.
True.
So I believe that you just keep it simple, build a lead magnet. You could do a welcome sequence. A lot of people recommend that. And I do think it's nice to have a welcome sequence, but you do not have to. Even Marie Forleo does not have a welcome sequence. So that tells you that big guys can do it and not and do it quite successfully. As long as you're continuously nurturing your audience through your newsletter. Super important.
I do agree. And I think that there are a few, actually, I'm on probably a lot of different people's newsletters that I receive.
Mhm.
And it is interesting to me how you can have even one pivot so many times of what their interests are. So their brand is still the same, but what they're doing under that brand quite often changes. And I'm not going to lie, I am interested every time because I'm all about the journey, what they're going through.
Yeah, because you relate to it too. You're human as well, right? We're ebbing and flowing and changing. And that's why it's really good to not build your business up so niched in one area if that is not your full expertise or that's not your full, you know, it's okay to have go all in for a while on one niche but if you go all in and you build out and all these components of your business, then all of those components have to change with you when you change.
So tell me what you're doing with all this information that you have with your sales funnels. What are you going to be offering to people?
Well, I am building something out because I have noticed that people struggle not just with what to build, but how to put it all together, especially when it comes to like getting the sales funnel to flow and dealing with the tech without stress. So I'm creating an offer called the Sales Funnel Lab. It's from idea to income. And it's launching in January, and it's going to be an 8-week cohort style program where we'll actually work together and my people will get real hands-on support from me throughout the whole process. I feel like that is vital. No, because I do not want to just give them pre-recorded videos that they watch and not actually look at their sales funnel because I want to have eyes on their funnel. I want to guide them through step by step as they build their funnel and set up the sales and thank you pages, write their email sequences, map out their social media, and do it in a way that they can repeat in the future. Like, I don't want this to just be something that they learn how to do one time just to get through it. I want them to have a repeatable system. I think that's very important. So I want them at the end to have not just a plan, but a fully functional sales offer ready to go live and get results and something that they can repeat later if they would like to build another.
And is there a wait list right now?
There is. I have a wait list. It's at shannongaither.com forward slash excuse me, wait list. And Gaither is spelled Gaither. That's the easiest way.
So for all those listening and you're like, yes, yes, I need to focus in on my sales funnel in 2025. And that is you have your product, you have your service, like everything like already set up. But I do feel like the hardest thing for all of us entrepreneurs to do is be on our own in a silo and try to sell the services and the products because we are so intimate with it that it is very difficult. It's easy for us to do it for a friend that's sitting next to us, but it's a
Yes,
lot harder for us to do it for ourselves. And what Shannon's offering is something to help you do it for yourself because you do have that expert guidance along the way, in which I don't believe we touched on this or not, but you really like honed in and focused in even just the offer for people. Like for them to know, how do you construct your offer out there that people are going to buy it?
absolutely. Absolutely. That's a big part of it. We spend the whole first part of the course is on um, actually nailing down that offer right and doing a little bit of legwork to make sure that you're connecting the offer really well to that ICA and what their actual needs and wants are and speaking the language they speak.
Yeah. So how are you going to do this and make it tech friendly? That's really what I want to do. So Shannon's tech. I am not tech. I am not tech. That would probably be that actually I am on the hunt right now. If anybody else out there is like, I'm on the hunt for a new tech. So anybody that has any suggestions, send them my way. How are you going to do this where there is such an ease of technology for those that are a lot like me to start their funnels?
Well, there's a few things we're going to do. Number one, I'm going to work on not just teaching, not just showing things in a video. I'm going to do a videos, of course. I'll have some pre-recorded videos, but I also want to consider all learning styles. So there'll be multiple ways to learn things based on how you learn, and you can take it step by step. It's a slow process. It's not I mean it's 8 weeks, but the periods where we actually do the tech, the process slows down a bit. And I'm so that we can give people the space and time to get each component set up properly. And so there'll be tutorials, of course. There'll be live troubleshooting. There'll be ways for people to just ask a question randomly and get their question answered as they're working on things. So it's not I really do want to support people to get past those tech humps, and in a way that very important to me is not just help them get past it, but help them learn it. Like they need to
Yes.
know how to set a funnel up. So if they can get this down in their business, they could hire if they want to in the future because they know exactly how to hire. It's harder to
Yes.
hire when you don't know what you're hiring for.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I think that is one of the essentials of as a business owner, knowing every little component of your business. Because if you give way and control over to somebody completely, then and don't have any knowledge of yourself of what they're doing, you are putting yourself in a very vulnerable position. And that is from like your assistants to tech to your accountants. Like you need to make sure that you are very much involved in every aspect of your business. You don't just, it's not a set it and let it, unfortunately.
I know. It's true.
So I'm dying to know a little bit more. So tell everybody out there more of your origin story. Like what brought you into this world and this tech space and sales?
Oh, let's see. So I started in tech. I started as a did tech support initially in my 20s. And actually I was an entrepreneur before that, believe it or not. I was a
Oh,
nail
well,
technician.
what were you as an entrepreneur?
So I decided at 18 years old I was going to pay for my own college because my parents weren't going to pay for it. So
Okay.
I put myself through a nail technician program and became a nail technician. And for 6 years, I ran my own business doing nails
That's
to pay
awesome.
to pay my way through college.
That is awesome.
Yes, it was kind of funny. It was like that was my first initial like taste of entrepreneurship. And then I had a period of, well, I am alone and I am going to be supporting myself. And I was young and I was like, well, what about good insurance and benefits and the perks my friends were getting? So
Yep.
I went into corporate for a while. So I did that for a little over 20 years and stayed in, and was all in the I started in tech and then I just managed to get into digital marketing, and I absolutely loved digital marketing.
Did you graduate with a degree in tech?
Yes, I have a degree in IT and business, so I did a double
Okay.
major. because at the time, it wasn't, I'm really going to date myself saying this, but it wasn't that long ago since at that point that the IT bubble had burst. And I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know if I want to put all my eggs in the IT basket. So yeah. So I did IT in business.
I remember being in high school and they had the whole career day. And man, did they push IT on all of us. They were like, this is the wave of the future. This is what you need to go into. And it did. It
Boomed.
was huge. But at that point, they were not pushing legal doctors, anything like it was tech all the way. I did not
Yes.
go into it. So my next question to you was was it a good ratio, female, male?
No way. It was very male dominated in the,
Yeah.
like at one point I ran the help desk at Frito-Lay and I was the only woman in the department. I think there was maybe one other. Now that I think about it, I think there was one other. But yeah. But I have to give it to Frito-Lay. They did put me in charge. So like they did help. They did they weren't totally glass ceiling. I did hit some glass ceilings after them. But so I moved from that world, the IT world, to digital marketing because the internet was super hot and people were wanting websites and I learned to build websites and I did all that and then digital advertising, was a natural next step for that. And I stayed in that space for a while until my kids were born. And so I have
Yep.
twins. And when they
Yep.
came home, I was like, I refuse to work 60, 70-hour weeks. I will be in control of my schedule. And that's how I ended up pivoting into this zone.
Well, there you go. And I love that you said pivot. And I love the fact that the young 18 nail technician who worked her way through college came home with two kids and was like, if I can do it for that, I can do it for this.
Yes, yes. And I did work full time the entire time I was in college. So I felt like, honestly, through after that, I felt like I could do anything. I was
Yep.
like, pretty much, I can get through anything.
But you have the flexibility of managing your hours.
Absolutely, which is enormous when you have kids.
Yes, it is very enormous to not miss out on all the things that they do. And
Yeah.
there's that beginning portion of their lives that you want to make sure that you're there. And then I would love to say it gets easier, but I have two teenagers and it is not easier. And if anything, I think it might be a little bit more demanding, especially when it comes to carting their butts around everywhere. It's a lot more. So to
Yes.
have that flexibility, I don't understand how any corp has not transitioned to understanding the demands and the balance. And I always think if you don't hesitate to send that email at 10 o'clock at night, but yet you hesitate for that 10 a.m. dentist appointment that they have to take their kid to.
So true. The only people I know in my world that are in corporate and have kids and do it with flexibility, they're in like unicorn companies that
Hmm.
happen to really value family.
Yep.
But that's
Yep.
not common. It's not from my experience.
It's not common at all. It's not. So your pivot was made. You have two kids, which, by the way, is still very difficult. College was probably way easier.
For sure.
So you have two babes at home. You're starting this company. And what did you originally decide to focus on? Was it digital marketing? Was it
You know what?
sales?
What's interesting? I went straight to blogging. I went straight to
Okay.
mom blogging is what I had a local mom blog and I just went all in and I loved it. And I monetized the absolute, can I use a curse word in here?
Yes, you totally can. It's
I
okay.
monetized the shit out of it. And I was in a blogging network with a lot of other bloggers, and they started to ask me a lot of questions about, well, how are you doing all this? How are you making all of this work with being a mom? And I had just built such I didn't know any different. I just was a systems type person. So I built
Yep.
systems and I was just following the plan and, attacking. Because there was also a piece of me that was like, I will show my husband that I can make great money doing this.
Yes.
And so that was part of the motivation.
Great things come out of agitation and irritants.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me I can't do something and I'll be damn sure to get it done.
There you go. So, is there any way for us to see the blog out there?
It's not something I have anymore. I let it go many years ago. I just kind of burnt out on blogging. I had kind of felt like it had done all I could do. I had all the subscribers that I could possibly have. I had, something like 13,000 subscribers, and I don't live in a neighborhood, an area that has many more people than that, like many more
Yeah.
families than that. So I was like, I knew I was at the max of where I could go with it.
What platform were you using for your blog?
So So I it was a like a Squarespace style type of system that had, like it had a WYSIWYG. It was a WYSIWYG based system that you what you see is what you get is
Yep.
what they call that. Yep. One of those drag and drop, highlight. And by the end of it, I had hired a VA and she was doing most of that part of the work and I was doing most of the sales. So I was just nurturing sales and doing and being like the concept person.
So, was it that you were selling like products that
Mm.
were easily
No,
known?
I was selling advertising on my blog.
There you
So
go.
I had advertising space on my blog and I would also sell a lot of articles. I would sell creative ways for small business owners on the North Shore of Boston to get get seen by moms. So it was part advertising. I did a lot of like, what were we gonna say?
So how did you A know like this is a great way to monetize my blog? And then B, how did you reach out to those advertisers to have them take that space and like
Yes.
determine the amount and all that other stuff?
It took a while to get all of that down. I had to learn by doing and testing and trying things.
Yeah.
And the blogging network, the group of other women helped also. They would be like, this worked for me. And we would all just share information. It was a big mind share in a Facebook group. And we would just keep talking about what was working, what wasn't working. And then there was all these seasonal pieces to it. So I kept a Trello board and I just created a plan, and year after year I just documented like crazy in this Trello board per month. And so every year I would always look at the board and be like, I can see exactly what my plan is for next month and what I need to do this month. So I can determine what to do this month. And it just as long as I kept building on that board, I just kept getting better and better and better at it every year. So that worked. And then I just got creative with the ways that I was putting out my advertising options because people would be like, well, I don't know if, I want to just pay for a digital ad. So I'm like, well, I would do packages. I'd do social media posts for them. I would do the digital ad plus an article, plus a spot in like a specialty guide. So like a summer camp guide or a seasonal like fall, what to do in the fall guide.
Oh, that's cool. So did you throughout time, number one, when did this blog stop?
About 5 years ago, and about right before the pandemic, so like 4.5, 5 years ago, something like that. And I was already like the last year was in the blog. I had been moving my business model. Like basically I had changed my positioning to be less of a just advertising this blog and more of a marketing agency sort of offer where, I would do things for people that was outside of just the blog so that like I
Yeah.
could help them with their marketing. And it was just a natural extension to do it that way. And then once that was done, once I decided I didn't really want to do any of the blogging anymore and I was over it and ready to move on, I decided I wanted to go into the course creation world and build my first course. And it was on systems. So I ended up going into like building a course on systems, since that's what really got me a lot of attention at the end of my blogging world, is everybody going like, how are you doing all this? And it was really, the bottom line was I understood how to build processes that
Yep.
got and deal with some tech headaches, and that
Yep.
helped me get more done.
And then from there you realize that people are also missing that component that is so essential.
Yes.
And that's
So,
the L
yes.
side.
So people will hire me for the last all these years. Since then, I have been doing coaching and I had my course on systems and I have my coaching business. And mostly it's been a lot of helping people build businesses and launch. And what I keep finding is these women will build businesses and just be on the struggle bus to overcome something. It's usually a tech issue. It's either a tech or strategy issue. And when they get to that place, it becomes so they have such resistance to it and get so frustrated with it that they either give up their business or they have to invest more and hire and find the right people to help them overcome it. But I saw so many women give up their businesses or get so burnt out they gave up or they just accepted status quo when the status quo was not really what they would be happy with.
Exactly. That's true.
And it's heartbreaking to watch that. So it just made my mission so much stronger. So I set my mission to help women build businesses that really support them and make them proud.
And we all need that because we do. All of us face a certain point within our businesses where we feel like we're in over our head. That is normal to feel that way. That is completely normal. It's how we tackle that feeling that is so important. And sometimes it is just being open and understanding of where our weaknesses are so then we can start strengthening them and knowing where we can fill in the gaps instead of just sticking to that overarching feeling, breaking it down.
Yes. Yes. And we need to know that we're not alone. Like there is
Yes.
this feeling of it's a natural feeling. I mean, I think because we tend to keep to ourselves, we keep to work, we just put the effort in the work and we just keep trugging along, but we don't reach out. That's not a natural thing for us all to reach out. Not all of us
Nope.
do that. And without the community aspect of entrepreneurship, I feel like you really are at risk. And it's super important to build the community, get in community, and
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 participate. Like, don't be afraid to say, hey, I just spent 5 hours trying to create a profile on Kajabi. Like, can somebody help me out?
right,
Or say, listen, this is the list of tech that I'm thinking of. It even emails, like there's so many different platforms out there for everything now. Like there's Flowdesk, there's Kit, there's Convert, there's MailChimp. There is constant contact. That's the one. There's like just so many different tech platforms for all of us. There's membership IO or OI, right?
IO, yeah, membership IO, yeah.
Thrive
It's
Cart,
it goes on and on. It's
Thickiving,
unreal.
like, that
Yeah.
to feel overwhelmed when looking at all your options makes sense. It would,
Yes.
it's like somebody who is a complete expert in the field of technology could be a complete expert in emails. Like just even an email content creator is going to look at all those platforms and they could even say certain platforms may work for one group and may not work for another. So
Absolutely.
it is normal.
Yes, 100%. In fact, I have a service offering that I do. It's 45 minutes. It's a tech match. I
Oh,
ask
no way.
yes, I ask
Please tell everybody how they can sign up for that.
it's I said what it is it's tech matching. It's tech stack matching. So it's set up to where I have a bunch of questions prior to the call that I ask, and a person will just send me all the tech that they have currently set up, what their goals are, short term, midterm, long term goals, who's involved in their business, and Just like a handful of questions that really help me hit the ground running when we're on the call. So I like to do a bunch of legwork ahead of it so that
Yes.
we actually have a useful call, and I like to get a taste of their personality and their tech style and everything so that I can help match them to the right tech for them because we're all different. I mean,
Yes.
some of us love Flowdesk because it's pretty and it's easy to use, and other people go, Flowdesk is hard to use. And I'm like, what? And that's just because we all learn differently.
It's true. It's very true. We all learn differently. Like to me, Kajabi, Kartra, complete like overhaul like will take me hours on end. I know if I have, and which I do currently have Kartra, but I know if I'm in Kartra, that is at least a 4 hour time frame of me deep diving in there because it is a very all out tech platform. But I'm gonna be honest, like I'm going through a period where I'm like, I don't want to give up Flowdesk. I think it's pretty and I think it's easy. I love
Yeah.
building out my lead magnets on it. I love the
Mhm.
checkout pages. Like I love like all of it, the funnels, everything. I love the colors that they show, like categorizing people for my segmentations, like every single thing. So I'm not giving that up. So, and that is something that Kartra offers as
Mhm.
part of their pricing package. And I think people need to think about that when it comes to their pricing package. It also offers your website. I love my WordPress website. I think WordPress is probably the best when it comes to SEO. And when you want to get out there and you're trying to get your rankings up there and visibility in the world of Google, which is so difficult to do, as well
Mhm.
as it's not just social media that it's hard. The digital space in general is not easy. And this is why Shannon would say the same thing, get people's email addresses, because that is the best space to be seen.
Yes.
That so I think about that and I'm like, why am I paying for Kartra that has all these things? I don't need them for affiliate because I have WooCommerce. Like I have like there's so many different components that I'm like, I want to shift direction to a little bit more simplistic platform that only offers a very like a one hit and that's it because that's all really I need unless I'm willing to give up everything else.
Right. Absolutely. And then there's other people who are like, I don't want to have learn any other systems. Like I
Yep.
just need one or two, a couple max. That's it. I don't want to, so they like the all-in-ones, like a
Yep.
Kartra or a Kajabi.
Which are both great, by the
They
way. They're
are.
both
Yep.
great sites. They really are. And I do love their all inclusivity. But once again, I'm very stubborn. I really like what I have going. And I'm not that at that point to give anything else up. And which I do think people need to think of as well when they're selecting their tech platforms what actually makes sense and do the deep diving. So, but for real, because I think that 45 minutes and what you're doing is so cool. Do they sign up on your website for that?
Yes, there's a link on my website. They just go to shannongaither.com, which Gaither's Gaither. So no one can
Okay.
spell it, believe me.
And which we are going to have in the show notes, we are going to have the link to sign up on
Perfect.
the wait list for the sales funnel course, which please, if you are trying to grow your business, please have a sales funnel and please sign up for the course, sign up for her wait list. And I could also do the link to your website.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And it's on the homepage at the bottom of the homepage. It's also on the services page.
That is so cool. That is so cool. All of it's cool.
Thank you. Thank you. It's the 45-minute was born out of necessity. I just kept seeing people who didn't really need like a coaching package. They weren't ready for that. They just needed a solution. And so that call goes for all sorts of different things. It's not just tech matching, it's also for the overcoming a particular tech challenge or launch advice, funnel fixing. Like I call myself a funnel fixer because I have fixed a number of
So
funny
we can create
issues.
funnels and then sign up for this for you to do basically like a funnel audit.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
There
I
you
think that
go.
I feel like people need a low barrier of entry way to work with coaches, and often I don't see coaches doing that. I see large coaching packages, all in or none. And I don't think that's fair necessarily because we're all small business owners trying to get stuff done. And we don't have time, money to invest,
Yep.
all sorts of variables. But
I I think that they're in this coaching world that is out there, coaching and consulting. There's such a polarization between those that make it accessible to a larger group of people and those that are like, but wait a second, when you do that, you're devaluing actually what we're bringing to the table.
right. I hear that a lot, and people have questioned why I do the way my lower
Same.
barrier. But I do it because it builds trust. It gets people it solves a problem. It gets people to understand how I work. When they see
Yes,
me work and they see it in action, they're like, okay, now I know I want to work with you more.
exactly. That's
It works
exactly
out
right.
great.
And you do have to take into account how many people that are out there, and everybody has their own niche, and within those niches are also where people are within their businesses.
Hmm.
So if someone's niche is the seven-figure entrepreneur, clearly they're going to pay you a little bit more than than those that are at the start of their entrepreneurship. And we all want everyone to be successful. Like the more businesses, the better. Really, I mean,
Yes,
there is enough out there, people. The more businesses, the better. And helping people be able to get to that next level and not give up, not feel overwhelmed. So I think it's great that there's people there for everyone.
I agree. I agree. I believe if my mission is to help women build a
Yeah,
business that really supports them and makes them proud, then I need to be in service of that. And in order to be in service of that, I can't create giant barriers for them, you
that's
know?
exactly right. That's exactly. And I did that. I did the whole like assessment because they say 3 to 5% of your business, the income coming in, should be allocated to consulting, coaching, learning, anything along those lines in relationship to your business, 3 to 5%. And it's amazing. And I use this for my own market research when it came to my pricing to make sure that I was still accessible to people. And I saw what the numbers were of the range because 3 to 5% could be quite a range, but of like finding where they were of whether or not I was still affordable to these startup companies and not just the mid-range or scaling up. And yeah, found out I was. I'm good.
Yeah. And I feel like also it's important to note that if these people get the help that they need to overcome the challenge that
Oh,
they
they're
have,
going to scale.
they're going to scale. And guess who
Yeah,
they're going to remember along the way who helped them scale, you
it's
know?
true. And
So,
wouldn't you say everything that we've been part of where we've allocated our 3 to 5% for scaling ourselves and growing through the investments that we've made in education, coaching,
yes,
learning, like we do get the ROI from it.
yes, yes. I mean, of course, there's always the exception, and there's always going to be a person talking about this bad deal that they got. And
Right.
that's really frustrating and unfortunate that
Yeah.
we have that, but that is a fact of the industry that there will always be bad eggs out there.
Yes.
So you have to find those people and align with those people and build a network again back to community, right? It
Yep.
goes back to community because you in community you can get referrals and advice that you can trust slightly more than your maybe internet search.
That's right. It's true. Firsthand. Well, Shannon, thank you so much. And again, everyone, the show notes, information about Shannon will be there. And I am so happy that you came on.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed our call.
And 2025, y'all, sales funnels,
Sales
sales
funnel.
funnels. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for listening in to The Seed. If you'd like to receive our weekly newsletter, go to Dandelion-Inc.com and click Let's Connect. And please be sure to subscribe to the Seeds podcast to hear more inspiring stories from other badass women that are all around us. Remember, behind every woman is a tribe of other successful women who have their back. To you all, thank you.